So today in the morning, I woke up, and then a couple of minutes later, I checked Twitter to see what was going on, and I see this cosplayer posted about with a screenshot of the Instagram that we have for Macross Band Central, and it's saying that you know at first I didn't know what they were saying. They were like, like they posted a lot of our pictures, but it was like kind of like a smiley emoji. And then I was like, wait, is this good or is this bad? So I went to Instagram and there was like this angry face on there. And I was like, oh, this is bad. This is like, one of those things. So it turns out that this cosplayer, I don't know her name. It was like no or N000007
Yeah, she goes by Rei-san, which is why she has so many zeros in her name, because the word for zero in Japanese is Rei.
Ah, I see. So go visit her if you want. I don't know.
She's an awesome cosplayer.
It's awesome. She's awesome.
She's really talented. Like
we've been posting her
Miyu
forever.
Make costumes so fast. She's very talented. Mm-hmm. She's beautiful and knows all of her good angles. Like she doesn't have a single bad photo.
And she does Mikimo. She does Cheryl. I'm not even like saying that she's not a good cosplayer. She truly is, and we enjoyed sharing her stuff. But today she found out that we were sharing her stuff, and she wasn't happy about it. And so, but she didn't like message us or anything. It was just like, it was almost like we were treating her badly. So I saw it, took down the pictures, and then I unfollowed her. And I was gonna block her and not do it out of spite, just so I won't make the same mistake again. But like I came back like maybe a couple of hours later, and then I found out that she had blocked me also. And I was like, what are you gonna do? I have no problem with not sharing her stuff again. And this is something I feel like, what do you call it? I'm gonna have Celia have her say first, and then I want to defend myself. But this is something that I feel is a cultural difference, not so much like, I'm not going to admit that I did something wrong, because I think we went about it the way we always go about it. But yeah, go ahead, Celia. What's your feeling? Look at her face, man. She's so angry. You're already against me, Celia. How dare you?
We've discussed things like this before.
We discussed this thing before.
And we do not agree on this.
We don't
still.
Agree. No.
I am firmly in the camp that no one should be reposting someone else's work without explicit permission. Mm-hmm. So like, if someone has in their bio that, that you're allowed to use their works for icons or whatever, or that like reposting with credit is okay, cool, you're given the green light. Mm-hmm. But if they say in their bio, all rights reserved, or please do not repost my art, mm-hmm. like, or do not repost. Like I've actually encountered some more cosplay photos that in Japanese say, please do not repost, because it was a notice that I hadn't seen before for a while. But because it's so common with English speaking social media users to repost Japanese cosplayers and their media.
Not just cosplayers. I mean, we treat it.
Yeah, and artists too. Like there are a lot of aesthetic accounts that do that all the time. Mm-hmm. And even though they're doing it with credit, it's a couple issues wrong with it that I at least see on an ethical level. The first one being, if you didn't get explicit permission, it's not yours to post. It belongs to the other person. And at that point, like, it's not like outright theft because you're not doing it with the intention of stealing it, but it's also not right because the person didn't say it was okay. Mm-hmm. And I come from a personal stance of, if someone posted my stuff, my art or my cosplay photos, and even though they credited me, they didn't ask me if they could do that first, I would probably be pretty mad too and be like, hey, take that down. You didn't credit me. Like, you know what I mean? And then the second thing is when you do stuff like that, it's not beneficial to the person that's being reposted. And it's why you'll see, for example, a big discrepancy in engagement and reach and like follower counts for an artist versus an aesthetic account that reposts that artist's stuff. So you can have an artist that will post something on Instagram and they'll maybe get 50 likes. An aesthetic account will post it, and they'll have more followers because more people will follow it thinking that, this is a place to go to find this kind of thing. They'll post it even with credit, but all the likes and engagement are going to that repost. So the 50 likes on the original versus the aesthetic account that'll get 100, maybe even 1,000 likes in comparison. And there aren't going to be that many people that click through. It's actually something that they're finding when you're analyzing the data, comparing them for things like that. Most people aren't clicking through those credits to go find the original artist. So that's part of the problem. Like, those are the two biggest things for me where I'm like, why I don't agree with reposting, because you didn't get permission for it, or really anyone that runs those kind of accounts. If you don't get permission for it, you shouldn't repost it. Secondly, you're taking away from the original artist. Really, if you want to share them, a retweet or a direct share of their Facebook page is better, because then more people will see the original source and the engagement will go to them instead of you posting it and just tagging them in it, if that makes sense.
It makes sense in a way. I mean, it makes sense the way you explain it, but I don't totally agree with it. Addressing number one. The first time we talked about it, I was like unaware of that, what you're saying. So I started checking, like, whenever I do repost, I started checking like whether it says do not repost, or, the rights thing. And I think I checked hers and it didn't say that. So, but then I don't go back and recheck. I'm not going to check it every time. This is something on my feed, right? So we've been doing it, hers, for a long time. And I think I even commented on like a long time ago, like, oh yeah, like people really like you on this page and stuff like that. And I don't know if she missed it. I don't know if she saw it. So that's as far as like looking if they have that on their bio. I checked on hers, and I do check on other people's, like artists and stuff like that. Number two, number two, I think I agree less. Like on Twitter, I just retweet them. I don't add the retweet with quote. I don't do stuff like that. And they're gonna get the likes that they set out for from my account. They got all that, but they're never gonna get what do you call it? Unless, and I do check if they have a Facebook page or an Instagram. If it starts after I checked, that's still, it's like I'm unaware of it. So they were never going to get that audience from Facebook that check our page. You know what I mean? If they do have a Facebook page and I didn't find it because, I just kind of like copy paste on the search with their names. If they're called something else, or if there's some character that's totally different in the Facebook page, I'm not going to find them, especially in Japanese, because I don't read Japanese. They were never going to get that audience. And, it's always been encouraged for them to go to the source. This is where I got this from. If you want to know more, if you want to see more, this is where you should go. And also, I'm not going to check. I'm not going to ask for permission for every post that I do. That's just too much. Like, we do a lot. And at this point, even if I feel bad that that's something that they don't like that I did, I'd rather get in trouble for it and stop following them than, it's no skin off my nose if they got mad at me. You know what I mean? Cosplay doesn't get a lot of likes on our page and pages like ours. I'm trying to make it so that cosplay becomes more popular than it is. And in Macross Fan Central, I used to have this thing, and I would put like, this place needs more cosplay. And I just keep reposting like the same caption. And then, and it's just a cosplay, like say on Instagram, a good cosplay post will get 80, and a Valkyrie post will get 360 something. That's just the way it is. And to me, I just want to elevate the exposure of cosplay, which I enjoy. So that's my point for doing it. And, and that's me trying to help out the cosplay community if they don't like it. And I'm not even going to say, like, if one person came to me and said, I don't like it, like this person doesn't like it, I'm not going to offend her. I'm not going to share any more of her pictures. But I've also had people like message me and thank me for posting their stuff. and it's like they start like one of them is shit, I don't know her name offhand. Hold on, let me look.
Is she the one who cosplayed Civil?
That one, Bernovsko Cosplay, and what do you call it, at Bernovsko _cos. Yeah, she messaged us, and she started sending us like all her other cosplay mates, and I posted them. People loved them. Posted on Macross Fan Central, Macross Central, and she was appreciative. It wasn't at all like offensive to her. You know what I mean?
Right. And everyone's going to interpret it differently when you repost their stuff. But at the same time, like for example, when I do social media for Toonami Faithful, I can't post cosplay without permission. It's actually something I've been trying to drive into the site owner, because he wanted to just share stuff willy-nilly and be like, oh, we want to post it so we can highlight them. And I'm like, you have to ask first. You can't just take this from someone's page and put it up there with credit because you think it's cool, because it's not actually that helpful. Most people won't go through the source, and you didn't ask, so, and even with we were doing a cosplay feature for a long time that's really slowed down, unfortunately. But like, I have a saved folder full of cosplayers that, where I'm like, oh, this is relevant and I'd like to share it. I saved it on our Instagram. So that way I can go to each of them and be like, hey, I'd like to feature your cosplay. Do you mind if I share this to our stories? Or do you mind if I share this to our timeline with credit? So it gives them the opportunity to say no.
That's different though. That's Toonami.
In case they
that's
need
an
it.
Official page.
It's not. We're a fan page. We're not an official page. Yeah. People think like we're official.
I'm going to disagree because, like I said, some people think that it is a plus for their thing. You know what I mean? But I'm not. Of course, I'm not going to keep doing it if people don't like it.
Right. Like there are definitely people. There are definitely people who are assholes and keep doing it even after people say, hey, don't do that. Yeah. And I appreciate that for you, it's like, okay, I'm going to stop because you said, not to do it. But really, if asking happens in the beginning, then that can be avoided.
The beginning started like when Macross Delta, she started doing Mikamo right away. I mean, I wasn't even aware of this rule. So it's like, we've been doing it for a long time. And I was really shocked that she just found out about it, because I'm thinking like, we share her.
Well, she's also not on Facebook. She's mostly on Twitter, which is probably why she's only just now finding out about it.
Yeah, somebody else told her. Just like somebody else told me, like, oh no, this one I found on my own, but the last one, people messaged me like, she's not happy with this. And this time I saw it first, and people still message me about this thing. Like I said, I'm okay with not sharing her stuff. But I mean, yeah, I just don't agree with like saying like, I don't know. If it's your stuff, it's your stuff. We're not going to touch it. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Right, and there's different ways to do it too. Like for example, Macrossgram on Instagram. If you use his hashtag Macrossgram, that's you giving permission for him to repost, and it's something that he explicitly states. So that's one way that like people can utilize strategies for like granting permission, is by using like a really unique hashtag specific to your account, where if people use it, then they're saying yes, I agree. Oh
man, I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but Macrossgram is not that faithful to just posting stuff that people give him.
I know. I've seen some stuff that he's posted that,
and it's not even just the pictures that he took from our page from Facebook. Like this is before I even knew there was a Macrossgram on Instagram, and I'm not like, I don't hate Macrossgram. I like Macrossgram. I follow him. I look through his stuff. He puts up good stuff. But when I first got on, there was stuff like that I posted, and even the caption was the same. I was like, what the hell? Like like, I'm fine with them taking a picture. Like this, to me, this is it. You put it up on the internet, it becomes public domain. But it's like, man, that's outright like being what do you call it? Just like being brass about like, like the captions too. Really? I'm like, whatever, but that's me. I'm like, whatever, I have no problem with it. I got shocked by it the first time. So I don't know. To me, Macrossgram is not a good example. It might be that part of it might be, But
yes, it's his strategy that I'm citing as an example, because he's definitely reposted things that didn't utilize that. And I'm like, bruh, they're on Twitter. I don't think you asked them if you could repost this from Twitter. And like, and I get it. The language barrier can be daunting, you know, so some people feel like because they don't know how to ask, or be like, oh, well, they don't speak English, so maybe they won't notice because they don't speak the language. Like, they eventually do notice. So, and you know, and it's as simple as having just a script ready to go to reply to a thing and be like, hey, can I post this over here? And give them the opportunity to say yes or no. And I think that's just a respect to the artist and the creator type of thing.
That sounds like a good idea, having like a script. Maybe I'll start doing that. It's hard though. As much as we post every day, I can't. And by the time I tried that on, now that you're talking about, I tried it on Instagram, and by the time they get back to me and say, sure you can, guess what? I have no fucking idea which post you're talking about. Like, who are you? Am I going to look through your stuff and find that one thing that I found interesting in your feed? And I was like, that's how bad it is, you know?
Yeah, except Instagram is updated now. So if someone replies back to you, it'll take you straight to their post if you tap on it in your notifications.
Except tab. Facebook gave me what do you call it? A page where I don't have to go to Instagram anymore. And I'm just like, I'm using the content, whatever.
Yeah, and I hate that thing. Like, ugh. The business pages manager is the worst thing ever. Page manager. If you do any sort of social media management, it is a horrid tool because it tries to overgeneralize strategies and communications across these two platforms because they happen to be owned by the same company. When the reality is, you just can't do that.
No, it's totally an Instagram killer. But you know what? What I hate about it is like Instagram. Okay, say I'm posting on Macross Central on Facebook. Then I have to go to my phone to lift the stuff that I posted on Macross Central just to repost it. So to me, like, I like the page manager because I post it once and it goes to the two. You know what I mean? It's such a hassle to just like. That's why I don't really go to Instagram, because it's even worse to like just, why can't I just retweet your, you know, or regram your shit? You know what I mean? It's like, you got to go to their page. You got to somehow download the thing and then repost it on your, like I'm almost done with Instagram, to tell you the truth.
See, I'm used to it because just the way that it works doesn't work for my strategies for Toonami Faithful. So I'm used to going between platforms and taking all the extra steps, and it's worth it to me because it helps individualize it for each algorithm and ultimately reaching more people, which is why I hate the business manager. Chad, do you have any thoughts on this, Chad?
Put it like a fake picture of himself, and he's gone to the kitchen or something.
He's like, all right, these two are about to argue. I'm going to go get a snack.
I don't see it as an argument.
No,
I'm fine with what Celia's saying. I see your point. Kidding. Yeah. No, I'm just saying, if anybody's out there, you know, if anybody's out there watching at all. But I think we had this discussion before with Chad. What's your take on it now?
You have reached the life model replica of Chad Wilson. It's not available.
It's like that Basra, the one that just kind of like.
Consulting hours are Wednesdays to Thursday every other week. This whole thing is like, I'm like, as far as social media, I think I'm the baby of the group, and I just you guys have been going around and around and stuff like that. I'm not sure if I don't agree with Celia's take on it, but not for the same reasons you do, Alex. I'm more looking at it from a sort of from an artist just like an artist creation sort of angle and the legal angle of it, because I'm like, I mean, full disclosure, I am like completely against like most copyright as it exists right now. It's just it's something that has to be like completely reworked from the ground up and reformed, because there's just so much abuse at this point, especially by big corporations who use like patents and copyrights like like a fucking like an atom bomb, and just it just shouldn't be set up that way as far as I'm concerned. So anything that gives these new platforms, and this is going to make me sound really old, Twitter and Facebook, Instagram, I consider these new platforms in my estimation, in my dissection of the way things work with copyright and artists and stuff like that. They've proven in a very short period of time that they're awful, and they're not alone. I mean, their abuse of content creators and the people who, basically the artists that create everything that we love about pop culture and art and entertainment and stuff like that, they're certainly not alone. There's been one article after another, one video after another about, criticizing Steam, for example, the PC distribution platform, video game distribution platform, sorry, I should say, and their awful policies towards how they take money for content that they just don't ask permission for, don't care about what the artists have to say, and you just have to deal with it because you're on their platform. And so many of the new platforms have that same attitude. I can understand where artists are coming from who are trying to build some sort of career, some sort of, income based off of what they do. I mean, that would be probably one of the, ultimate goals for myself as well. But I don't think the solution can come from the platforms that we currently have in place or the way that they're being managed or run, because they're based off of laws that have to be reformed and changed. So thinking that you're going to, as an individual artist, thinking that you can control who reposts your stuff, exerting some sort of influence over the platforms the very platforms that they use and stuff like that, is sort of antithetical to what I want to see happen with the way we do business, the way we use the internet, and the way we, make our laws, at least here in Canada anyway.
All right, let's wrap this one up.
Yes. Do you guys have any final thoughts on this one?
That's about it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I disagree with, but there's also the stuff that I think I'll rethink just to be more sensitive to the people that are making content,
Right.
But I don't exactly agree. But we'll work with it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for watching with us today, guys. If you agreed or disagreed with anything, we'd love to hear your feedback. You can leave that in the comments section below. Chad, where can people find you?
They can find me on Macross Mecha Manual on Facebook. You can also find me on the Macross Mecha Manual on Twitter. You can send me an email at marchingcw@hotmail.com. Or you can find me skulking about on the Discord server for Macross Fan Central every once in a while.
Nice. All right, Alex, where can people find you?
Yeah, so Macross Fan Central, the group, Macross Central, the page on Facebook, both on Facebook. And I'll be going to the Discord more. You can find that link in our group. It's a pinned a post. And that's about it. Macross tweet on Twitter. So pretty easy to find. Celia?
Very nice.
where can we find you, Celia?
You can find me on Twitter at Planets Twinkle and on Facebook at Celia Rose Cosplay. If you happen to be interested in Toonami stuff, I do run the social media accounts for ToonamiFaithful.com. So you'll see me there as well. And I see everything that you post. Ooh, do. So scary. But anyways, yeah. So you can find me on those sites there. And hopefully we'll see you guys in the next episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.